Okay, in this video, we're going to get an overview of the Makot, of the 10 Makot. You should ask your substitute teacher for page 24, which will have a chart just like this. Again, this is just to get a general idea of the Makot. Later on, we're going to study a few details about some of the Makot to get a better insight into how they work. So, in the left side, we have the name of the Makah. So in this box, we write the name of the Makah. You can write in Hebrew or you can write in English. You might recall that it is Dam, Dalet Mem, or you can write blood. It's found in the Torah. It's mentioned in Perek Zayin, from Pasuk Yud Dalet to Pasuk Hav Hei. And we're going to see that in some of the Makot, first Moshe and Aaron were told to give a warning to Paro. So yes, when it came to Dam, there was a warning, and it was given by the river. As you probably learned before, Paro used to go secretly to the river every morning because he used that as a bathroom. He didn't want anybody to know that he was a regular human being, and so therefore he went to the bathroom in the river. Nobody should know. So yes, a warning was given by the river. Now, who was involved in bringing about the Makah? Obviously, Hashem is the one who performed the Makos. The Makot are all supernatural, but we're going to see that in some of the Makot, there was a person involved. And in Dam, it was Aharon. Okay, he was told to take his staff and hit the water of the river. So it was Aharon. And the lesson, the Pasuk says, the lesson is that when they see the blood change, they will know that I Ani Hashem. You can write in Hebrew, Ani Hashem, or you can write in English, that I am Hashem. The purpose of the Makah was for the people to realize, not only the Jews, but the Egyptians as well, that Hashem is the one who has the power to change nature. Ani Hashem. Now, you know that Paro had a bunch of Khartoumim. There was a lot of superstition in Mitzrayim. They believe in magic and witchcraft and all kinds of things. And so the Khartoumim, these magicians, these sorcerers, they attempted to change the water into blood, and they were successful. So here you write a check. Yes, the Khartoumim did it. So somehow they're able to pretend that they also took water and changed it into blood. Now in Pasuk Hav Bet, it mentions Paro's reaction. Paro's reaction was that Hashem vaychazek, chazak, he hardened his heart. And we already discussed what that means. And finally, the effect on Paro was that he did not listen. Okay? He was not impressed. Next Makah is Tzfardea. You can write in Hebrew, Tzfardea, Tzadi Fei Reish Dalet Ayin, or you can write frogs. Is mentioned in the Torah in Perek Zayin, Pasuk Havav 2, Perek Het, Pasuk Yud Aleph, and the warning there is given at the palace. This time Moshe comes to Paro's palace and tells him, let the people go or else. The warning is given by the palace. Through whom? So the Torah says that it was Aharon. Aaron again took his stick and he hit the water, and the frogs came out of the river. Lesson is that you'll know that there's none like Hashem. There's no one else that has the power of Hashem. That was the lesson to the people, to the Jews, and to the Mitzrayim. The Khartoumim, yeah, they were able to do it also. They took a bunch of frogs and they pretended that they brought frogs out of the river. Paro's reaction, he didn't listen, right? The effect of Paro was he hardened his heart. He was not impressed. Okay, the third Makah. So you remember that it's Kinim. Chav, Yud, Nun, Yud, Mem, Sofit. Kinim means lice. And that's mentioned in Perek Het, in this Psukim. Warn, there was no warning. This time the Makah just came. Through whom? Again, it was Aaron who was told to take a fistful of soil and throw it in the sky, and lice came. The lesson, this doesn't mention a specific lesson, so just make an X or leave it blank. The Khartoumim, they were not able to do this. They tried, they were not successful. Paro's reaction, is he didn't listen and his heart became hardened. That was the effect, that his heart became hardened. Number 4, please. Now we have the next Makkah, and you might recall that it is Arov. You can write it in Hebrew, it's Ayin Resh Vav Bet. Arov in English means beast, meaning that there were all kinds of wild animals that came in Mitzrayim, even though that was not their natural habitat. They came from all over the place. This is where it's mentioned, Perechet, in this psukim. Warning. So here the warning is given by the river. Through whom? Now this time it is Moshe. And the lesson is that they should know Ani Hashem bekerev haaretz, which means that they'll know that I am Hashem in the land, means that I am involved in what happens in the world. What that means is that they believe that, God doesn't care, God's not involved. And this Makkah was to show them that Hashem is in the world, He's involved. The Khartoumim, they're not able to do it. So from here on, from the third Makkah and on, the Khartoumim are not able to reproduce the Makkah. The reaction of Paro is he said, you know what, I'll give you 3 days. Go for 3 days into the desert and come back. But then the effect was that his heart became hard and he changed his mind. He did not let him go for 3 days. Makkah number 5 is Dever, Dalet Bet Reish. Dever means disease. There was a plague that infected the animals. This time the warning is given by the palace. The one who brings it about is Moshe. The lesson is that they'll know that Ein Kamoni, there's no one like Hashem. There's no other being that has the power of Hashem, that controls nature. The Khartoumim, leave it blank, they're not able to do this. The reaction of Paro is that he hardens his heart and he is not willing to let the people go. Okay, the 6th Makkah is Shchin, Shin Chet Yud Nun, that means boils. Boils is a skin disease that make people very uncomfortable. This is where it's mentioned in Perek Tet, Psukim Chet to Yud Bet. In Shchin, there is no warning. Moshe is the one who is involved. Lesson, it doesn't mention the specific lesson. Again, the Khartoumim leave it blind because they're not able to do this. Paro's reaction is Lo Shama, he didn't pay attention, he didn't listen to them, and he hardened his heart. Number 7 is Barad, Bet Resh Dalet. This is hail, Hail. This hail was no regular hail. Some of you might have seen hail. But this hail was mixed with fire, the psukim describe, and we'll see later archaeological evidence that talks about that. This is where it's mentioned, Perek Tet, psukim Yud Gimel 2 Lamed Hey. The warning was given by the river, and through whom, now this is already Hashem directly. Moshe doesn't get involved in bringing about the Makkah, nor is Aaron. Okay, the lesson is Lashem Haaretz, that the earth, the world belongs to Hashem. This demonstrates Hashem's mastery, that He brings hail mixed with the opposite, with fire, and this is happening in the desert. The Khartoumim again leave it blank. Reaction of Paro, very interesting. This time Paro says, you know what, I've sinned, I've done something wrong. He's beginning to think that, maybe he's wrong for what he's doing. But at the end, the effect is nothing. He hardens his heart, he doesn't listen. Makkah number 8 is Arbe, is Hey Resh Bet Hey, that is locust. Locust is a type of grasshopper. This attacks the crops, and it's a serious plague. It's mentioned in Perek Yud, Psukim Aleph through Chav. The warning is given by the palace. The one who brings it about is Hashem. The lesson is Ki Ani Hashem, that I am Hashem. This plague demonstrates Hashem's control over nature again. I am Hashem. The Khartoumim, we know, we leave it blank. Paro's reaction is very interesting. he says, you know what? Why don't you go serve God? But who wants to go? Are you going to take everybody? So Paro says, I will only let the men go. And Moshe says, no, when we go, we're going to go everybody. The men, the women, the children, everybody's going to go. So Paro's reaction is, who are the ones going? Meaning he was willing to let the men go, but nobody else. But at the end, the effect again is that Paro changed his mind. Okay, number 9 is Choshech. Chet, Shin, Vav, Chav, Sofit. Choshech, you can write in English if you like, is darkness. This is where it's mentioned. The warning of Choshech is there is no warning. The one who's bringing it is Hashem himself. It doesn't mention a specific lesson. Khartoumim will leave blank. Paro's reaction is he strengthened his heart. His heart was hardened, was strengthened, and the effect is nothing. He didn't let them go. Okay, the last Makkah is Bechorot, the firstborn, the death of the firstborn. This is where it's mentioned. There is no warning. Hashem does it himself, like we learn in the Haggadah, based on the psukim that are mentioned in this parak, that it is Hashem himself who will do this. The lesson is that Hashem protects Bnei Israel by attacking the firstborn of Paro. Hashem is showing them that, you know what, Bnei Israel are my Bechor, my firstborn, and you harm them, so I'm going to harm your firstborn. Hashem protects Bnei Israel. The Khartoumim obviously not able to do it. Paro's reaction is he's afraid. He thinks that they're all going to die, and the effect is that he finally lets the people go. So if you look at the pattern, for example, here you'll see that the first 2 plagues have a warning, and the third one does not. The next 2 there is a warning, the third one does not. The next 2 have a warning, and the next ones do not. But it's also interesting that the first in the group is, the warning is by the river and then by the palace. Then by the river, and then by the palace, by the river, and then by the palace. Okay, the first 3 of the Makot are brought to Aaron, the next 3 are brought to Moshe, and the last 4 are by Hashem himself. And again, later on, we're going to learn more details about the Makot.